What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Puntari. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Before we get going here, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Can't thank you enough for all you do. It's a good one here in the Berg, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, we talked quarterback today. We talked to both of them, and there's definitely some insight onto what's going on and where the Pittsburgh Steelers stand and how things currently stand with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're not the only ones talking about it. Chicago's having words. Those outside the city are having words, and Darnell Washington is having words about his weight that I think is bigger than anything we will talk about today. It's a good one here in the city of Pittsburgh. How you feeling, my friend?
Feeling light, especially compared to perhaps some specific poundage we're going to talk about in the show today. But I'm feeling light, feeling like lighter than air, and feeling good to go, and feeling
Beautiful.
like, here we go, Steelers, baby.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. If I was an NFL player, anybody I talk to on a daily basis, the words that would have came out of my mouth there were pause. But I don't really know how to properly use that, so we're just gonna keep it trucking here and embrace that I'm old. And we'll start with the poundage just to carry it on there. Darnell Washington revealed today that he is bigger than almost any man on the planet. We have all guessed for a long time what the Steelers tight end's weight was. I've even asked him to get on a scale once or twice. Hey, brother, come on, just so I know. I won't tell anybody, just I got to know. You 305, you 325. Where are you at here? He was on the St. Brown podcast yesterday, I believe, and announced that the number is 311 pounds. That is a man who runs a 4.5, who can hurdle human beings, who stands 6'7", and his head is the same size of his neck, which is the same size of his shoulders, which are the same size of his abdominal, which are the same size of his thighs, which are the same size of his damn feet. He's a living giant, 311 pounds. Can you just explain in words how far your mouth was from the top of your head when you saw the number 311?
I mean, if it could have hit the floor, it would have. And at the same time, you're sitting there as someone who has seen him around the facilities a few times, you look at someone who once or twice, you look at any other player who might be listed at 265. I think 264 is the latest thing you see on any sort of official or any websites or anything like that. You look at any other player who's 265, even 275, 280, you're looking at some ginormous guys. You're talking about some of the biggest defensive ends, defensive tackles in the league. You talk about guys who are 300 pounds. You're talking about your nose tackle, right? You're looking at Y.A. Black, and it's the belly celly, not how is this guy one of the faster, more crisp, athletic route runners on the team. And at the same time, he is pretty much a missile once in motion. I was shocked to see it, but I think it seemed like a very poorly kept secret that Darnell Washington was probably a lot heavier than anything listed online.
I think it's crazy that he weighs more than Broderick Jones. I also think it's crazy that they listed him as his freshman high school weight of 264 pounds. When do you think the last time Darnell actually was 264 pounds?
I mean, probably his senior year of high school.
Have you seen clips of him in senior year of high school? He looks just as big as he does now. Man's a massive being. It honestly could have been like 8th grade. 8th grade, he was walking around 260. He stood on that scale. Somebody went, we can't put that down. We can't put that number down. We're just gonna 264 sounds like a good one. That sounds like a good weight there. Shout out to Darnell. That's a grown man. That's a grown ass man.
Human being. Massive human being.
All right. Let's talk some quarterbacks here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not the only ones talking about their quarterback situation. The Chicago Bears are also talking about their quarterback situation. And head coach Ben Johnson he had something to say about the Steelers quarterback situation and getting to face the Chicago Bears out there, or getting to face Aaron Rodgers as the Chicago Bears head coach. That's what I meant to say for the first time. You got the quote for us?
I do, man. And in respect to said Aaron Rodgers, Ben Johnson, and these 7-3 Chicago Bears, he had this to say: I've got a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers. He's done this at a high level for an incredible amount of time. If he's ready to go this week, we would love nothing more than to compete against him. And it was said with a little
sass.
Little sassafras in there.
Little sass. Had him in the first half. Very, complimentary. Fantastic quarterback. One of the greatest ever. Second half, it was quickly, I would love to have my defense knock him out and cement myself as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I'll tell you this. Talking to Aaron today, he still very much so hates the Bears. Didn't say it. He actually said, I don't hate the Bears. But he also mentioned twice that maybe bygones will be bygones, except the Bears fans will not let that happen, which, and then on top of that, talked about how he's had plenty of Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays with plenty of great memories in the city of Chicago. This rivalry is red hot, dude. Red hot. Does Ben Johnson's, we'll start with the easy question. Does Ben Johnson's comments push Aaron towards playing more than before? Because he's going to hear it. For a fact, somebody's going to be like, Aaron, Ben's talking shit, and it's going to happen. Does it push it a little further?
I think it is certainly a little bit of gasoline onto a fire, but I think that fire's already has been burning, right? There is a very big brother, little brother energy to this sort of matchup where Aaron Rodgers certainly wants to go out on top one more time. And he wants to just show that 2021, the clip of him telling the entire crowd at Soldier Field, I own this city. I effing own this. He might be a calmer version of himself, in 2025, but I think the fire is very much there. And so, yeah, I think there's any little bit of bulletin board material, I think, is just some more fuel on the fire here for Aaron Rodgers. But again, that being said, I don't think he needs, any more motivation to try to push to play on Sunday. I think that he has been pushing for himself to play on Sunday. I think he would have, practiced today if he could have. I think he would love to practice tomorrow or Friday. I think there is something to it, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers needs any more fuel when it comes to his desire to dominate against the Chicago Bears, a team that he is 24-5 against in his 21-year career. So that's kind of where I stand.
24-5 against the Chicago Bears. 24-5.
He's dominated the Bears.
Yeah, he's gonna play. He's gonna play. Yeah. And I will tell you, Ben, there are certain people you don't talk about in the NFL. We talked about this before. There are just certain people out there that you don't sit around and go, I'm gonna toss a little bit of bulletin board material his way. But Aaron's one of them. Aaron's 100% one of them. He's just the last guy that you want to go, I'm gonna piss him off before we play, because shout out to Aaron Rodgers. I do think that it pushes it a little bit, but not enough to, Ben talking is, Aaron's not going to burst into Art Rooney's office, throw the desk, and be like, I'm playing on Sunday. I'm playing on Sunday. No. But I do think that when he's talking, he's going to look at Mike and be like, you heard what he said. You heard the comments from the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Now, Aaron talked today, and he said that it'll be up to the coaching staff, up to the medical staff. It is about, quote unquote, safety more than it is comfort and a pain tolerance. He'll be fine with the pain tolerance. It's about how he can secure his wrist and if he's safe to play for the long term instead of just the short term, which I think is important. Didn't take a snap today. Didn't go out there. Mason Rudolph seems to be the guy that's, gearing up for things, but he said, I don't know if I'll even find out before Sunday if I'm going to play in this football game, which I understand that. Aaron does not practice today. I will say that I get the vibes. I get the vibes that there's a growing chance this is going to happen. That we have surpassed 50-50 and we are now circulating somewhere around 70-30 Aaron plays. And that has nothing to do with the fact that he did not practice today. It has everything to do with the fact that he was there. He says that things are fine. He's in a lot more comfort today than he was. It hurt at the time being. And then he talked at length about being able to play the Bears. I also have heard this, and I heard this from I saw the Jerry Dulac clip and looked into it a little bit. Like, would that actually happen? What would a short leash be? Dulac says there's a chance Aaron plays on a quote unquote short leash. I asked what a short leash is, and it was essentially like the second Aaron comes over and goes, "Ooh, it's over." Which I don't know. I don't know if the Steelers.
When does he say that?
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know if the Steelers would do that. I don't know if the Steelers would sit there comfortably and say Aaron's going to play, even though he's not good enough to play. But that being said, today, from my understanding, if I had to guess, it's 70-30 Aaron's on that football field. Mm-hmm. And I just, that's in my head going to grow as this week goes on, even if he doesn't practice, because I'm telling you, it's the Bears thing. It's the Bears thing more than if this was Buffalo, I wouldn't even be talking up here. Aaron would not be playing. It's the Bears. He wants to go out on top against the Bears. And I think it's going to happen. I truly do. I know you weren't there today, but what's your thoughts?
No, well, I think similarly, you mentioned it a second ago, there was, I think, a very telling couple of moments in Jerry Dulac's interview on the Rich Eisen show, and then they seem to mirror some of the comments that Mike Tomlin made yesterday in his press conference. And the thing that stuck out to me was pain tolerance is not an issue. And that was something that has been stated multiple times. And one, we know Aaron Rodgers can handle the pain sometimes. We're very well aware of his history doing that. Yes. Wink, wink. And so, yes, of course, that's hilarious. But it also tells me that there is not a ton of concern of his ability. You're not worried about him, like, getting hurt more in that wrist area. They just don't want him to be able to, they're not sure if he can hand the ball off, or like fake play action well enough, or if he can have certain functionality, or if he is taken down, like, is he able to properly protect himself? Like, so there's a lot of indications to me that, fast forward to Sunday, we can look back and say, okay, I think they were kind of laying the groundwork here for Aaron Rodgers to make that triumphant return into Chicago. And then for the time being, they cannot show their hand. They have to keep, he has to be limited, of course, tomorrow. Would be shocked if he's anything more than limited on Friday. And then he'll play. He's going to be questionable, and then he's probably going to play. It seems like that's, if I'm the NFL script writer, that's what I'm pitching, moving into this week, and that's the big plot point. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. I agree. Could you imagine if the Steelers were like, he doesn't have an injury designation on Friday? Idiots, complete idiots. Like, what? It's a starting quarterback against the Chicago Bears, who are going to be deeply concerned about your start. Again, this is not Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, and one of them got hurt. This is the guy that beat the Bears 25 times throughout his career. And the Bears are going to be like, it cannot be 26. Could not be 26. We are going to do everything in our power to stop him. And then you're going to leave the door open to say, maybe it's him, maybe it's Mason, and just scare the crap out of the Bears, even if it's Mason. Because on Sunday, you'll walk in there and be like, Mason Rudolph's our starting quarterback. Things are fine. No big deal. No big deal. With the Titans security after the Aaron leak happened, because Schefter said that the Steelers were pissed. Do you think that that gets out before Sunday? You think we know before Sunday? No, I think we're going to have a very strong feeling. I don't know if we'll have confirmation. Do you feel differently?
I think there's always a possibility of a leak in the NFL. Just having the conversation, like Leakies happen how often and I hate to be this guy. I feel like such a douche when I'm this guy. How often do I come to you and I'm like, yo, this just happened, but we can't say anything. We're not allowed to say a word. You know what I mean? Like,
there's been like 3 things probably. Like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that just for the tease on air.
but I think that it'll get into the wrong hands and it'll get out. I do think that's just knowing. Like I want to agree with you. I'm just a skeptical human being you can't trust a journalist, dude. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can't trust. You don't know who the worst are? The messenger, bro. You shoot them every time. That's what they say. That's what they say.
They say, you're right, and they're right too.
and they're right too. And they're right too. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The Steelers are going to practice tomorrow. I would guess Mason goes out there, leads the first team. He said he's confident. He's ready to go. He'd care less. He's done this before. He's gotten calls on Sunday morning. Hey, dude, you're starting for Ben. All right, sounds good. Appreciate it. Tied the winless Lions that game, but you know what I mean. There's been other good ones. All right, we'll ask it today, and then we'll go into what's more likely here. What's your confidence level Aaron's going to play? It's Wednesday. We asked this yesterday. I think it was a 30. I think you were at a 30.
Yeah, it was. I think it was pretty low, and I think it's rising. I think it's got to be a 5 out of 10. I'll keep a cautious approach here with that, but I think it is very much trending in the right direction and in the direction that we all very much think it's heading, which is that he's gonna play. But on Wednesday, not practicing, all we have to go off of are some encouraging words. I'll say 5 out of 10 or 50%.
Do you think it hurts the Steelers? The Bears are a good team with a good defense. Do you think it hurts the Steelers to go the week? If the Steelers play with Rodgers but don't practice with Rodgers, this is not your fullback. This is or your left guard. This is your quarterback. Does that hurt your outlook for the team this week?
No. Ordinarily, I think it might. It might, right? Again, if we're talking about week 13 against Buffalo, yes.
Yeah.
Against the Bears, with this, and maybe this is just us, as the messengers injecting this sort of stuff from the outside, but it seems like such a big part of this that it doesn't really matter if there is some secrecy to it. I imagine there's going to be some more competitive gamesmanship to it, but they could just outright state today, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is going to play, and it wouldn't matter. You don't have to conceal that. If he's not going to play, you have every incentive to keep that under wraps, just to give the Bears the assumption or the possibility, keep them guessing that Rodgers could show up. But other than that, no, I just think the Aaron Rodgers effect in Chicago is too big. You don't have to like muffle it. You could just let it happen.
You could just look at if Aaron's out there, the Steelers are in good shape. He doesn't even need to practice. I will say the Aaron
really
thing, it's crazy because I've covered veteran quarterbacks now from Ben to Justin Fields to Russell Wilson and now to Aaron and even Mitch Trubisky for a little while. And Aaron's the first one that practices every single day. Like Aaron barely gets veteran rest days. I don't think that's detrimental to the team. And I think I tend to agree with you that it holds weight in Chicago. It just holds weight. My confidence level right now is at 70%. I'm a 7 out of 10. I'm feeling like Aaron's going to step on that field at Soldier Field. And we'll make our predictions on Friday. But I think there's a chance that he knocks the socks out of Ben Johnson. Just sorry, brother. Can't do it to you. Gotta do it to you. We'll see what happens. All right. It's Wednesday. Let's do a little bit of what's more likely as we head into good old hump day here in the city of Pittsburgh. I also shout out because we did 2 call-in shows today. Started the first one by naming places to go and the fact that I didn't know Chicago was home of the sausage. Lots of sausage going on in Chicago. So I'm pretty pumped to eat some sausage. All right, brother. What's more likely? I'm tossing it to you. What do we got?
I got several, and I will preface that I do have a bonus one today if we have time. That is
love a good bonus.
Something I think you'll like a lot, and maybe the picnic pack will as well.
Okay.
Let me hit you with the first one. Let's give me the more Aaron Rodgers talk for just one more minute, and I promise I'll back off.
Brother, you think we're going to stop at any time? We got 2 more shows till Sunday.
Well put. Aaron Rodgers, of course, he's on our mind. Is he going to play? Is he not?
Yeah.
Let's just keep it in the realms of quarterbacks. Do you think it is more likely? You came in very confident just a minute ago. Do you think it is more likely that Aaron Rodgers plays the entirety of this game? Or do you think it's more likely that Mason Rudolph has a baller day in his absence? And I think that would include, and not be limited to, 3 touchdowns. I know you're confident Rodgers plays, but what do you think is more likely? The full game there is what I want you to consider.
I think it's more likely Rodgers plays. And that's no dig on Mason Rudolph. There's no dig on Mason Rudolph whatsoever. It is simply Aaron Aaron looks so cool, calm, and collected standing up there. Like, that hurts. We'll see what happens, like Aaron's the guy that gives you just enough, but not too much. He knows how to talk to the media really well. He knows how to give you a little bit of an answer without giving you the answer. And that helps. It gives you breadcrumbs that if you're around him enough, you could connect. I'm feeling in my head, Aaron plays. Like, maybe I'm totally off base here. Maybe I'm totally wrong. In my head, Aaron Rodgers is playing on Sunday. The Steelers are not going to have a quarterback situation. And shout out to Mason Rudolph, man. But I don't sit here and think that if Mason plays, the Steelers' chances of winning this game are super duper high. Shout out to Mason Rudolph. Cincinnati, let's just take it back one more week to when they got smoked by the Chargers. It was a long time ago. I get it. I think there's a 50-50 shot that it doesn't go well for them if Mason is out there. I'm going what's more likely, good old Aaron Rodgers suits up for the Steelers.
Wow. Okay. All right. I accept that, and I think the confidence is high right now, and there's really not much reason to consider that Mason Rudolph will have any impact on this game until reason for that confidence changes. So
I hope it does. I hope Mason goes out there and throws for 7 touchdowns and is the next Tom Brady. I hope that happens.
Yep.
And then he has to shave his mustache.
Oh, yeah. I think maybe if he did, it might unlock the next phase for Mason Rudolph, but that's maybe a topic for another episode. Let's talk about who either quarterback, most likely Aaron Rodgers, is going to be utilizing in the backfield. We know Jaylen Warren got a little banged up against Cincinnati Bengals, expecting him to be back in the fold. And I think the plan is to continue to involve him, but there's a sneaky little backup in Kenneth Gainwell, and he manages to show up and have these big, impressive games every now and then, like he did against the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you think that it's more likely that Jaylen Warren continues to build momentum and carries the ball at least 20 times? Or do you think it is more likely that Kenneth Gainwell will rack up more than 75 all-purpose yards against the Chicago Bears?
The Kenneth Gainwell, 20 rushes for Jaylen Warren. What are you dreaming? You dreaming?
A man can.
Everybody else die? I don't know how that happens. That's not possible unless there's nobody else on the field. 11 other guys non-existent. It's Jaylen Warren taking a snap from himself, running the football. No, that's not even. Kenneth Gainwell is going to play every third down. He's going to catch the football. He's going to run the football, and he's going to take kick returns. Like, it's Kenny G, man. It's Kenny G. I wish it was Jalen. We all wish it was Jalen. Kenny G is going to touch the ball potentially more than Jalen's going to in this entire game. They hate Jaylen Warren, okay? And I hate them for hating Jaylen Warren because I think Jaylen Warren's a stud. So
I do too. I think he is, without a doubt, a top offensive player on this team. That's a bummer to hear. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very bummed from this. All right. Well, this is great. Let's just keep on moving. Let's see how else.
I don't think he's touched the ball 20 times this season.
No, he hasn't. But I would like him to. Because the effectiveness is there, as we talk about. In all seriousness, we talk about consistently, and Aaron Rodgers talks about consistently. Mostly everybody on the Pittsburgh Steelers talks about when Jaylen Warren has the ball, more better things happen. And yet,
fighting
for touches makes no sense. You know who else is fighting for touches and yards and impact right now?
Yeah.
DK Metcalf. You know, and
True.
we're talking about multiple weeks. I want to say 4 or 5 weeks of being at 55 yards receiving or less. We were talking about DK Metcalf, who has been, I would say, generally productive, but not really in his groove so far. Meanwhile, they have Roman Wilson, my favorite receiver and the second year guy, who might just be the actual number 2 wide receiver for this team moving forward. And he outsnapped Calvin Austin, as we talked about, against the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you think is going to be the go-to wide receiver here? Do you think Roman Wilson gets wide receiver 2 production? And I'm thinking 3 or 4 receptions, maybe 50 yards, a nice little tidy stat line. Or do we think DK Metcalf breaks this little slump he's in, breaks the skid? And I'm thinking 5+ receptions, at least 80 yards.
Ah, man. No, you had me in the first half. I was thinking DK's got a good stat line coming. Realistic. No, it's Roman, dude. It's Roman. It's Roman. Roman's the next edition of the Steelers passing game. They've gone through Pat Freiermuth. They've added Darnell Washington. They went through the DK Metcalf thing. They were trying to get Calvin Austin involved. It's not happening. You want to know who's next? Roman Wilson. I'm on the Roman Wilson train. I'm still not convinced Roman Wilson's this superstar wide receiver and the Steelers should not have added somebody else besides MVS. That's not the stance that I sit. Mm-hmm. Where I see it, though, the Steelers only have one more option, and that's Roman Wilson. And at some point, they're going to utilize him. At some point, they're going to go to him. And I think it's coming now. Shout out to Roman, because I think that just this show alone has given him no chance in the NFL. And the Steelers are trying so hard to give him one. And I feel like it's coming. I'm going Roman in this one. And it has more to do with Roman than DK, which I think says something. Yeah.
Wow. That's telling. We got to touch more on that in a bit. But I have one more question for you about the offense, Noah.
I'm ready.
He says excitedly. One more position. Let's move down. Let's talk about tight ends. Darnell Washington, I think he's their next star. Can't tackle him. He's 311 pounds. But they still have Pat Freiermuth, and this seems like a game to me where there's going to be some tight ends getting involved, possibly. Do you think it is more likely that Darnell Washington records a touchdown and another 60-yard game? Or do you think it is more likely that Pat Freiermuth has another 75+ yard game?
75 is a lot of yards. I'll tell you this. There is nothing more beneficial than having a tight end as a backup quarterback. No one is a backup quarterback's best friend more than a good tight end. The Steelers have 3 of them. Darnell might be the best one. And I'm telling you right now, Darnell over 60 yards and a good old tutty. That's only the next evolution of this. Darnell's the next star in Pittsburgh. I'm ready to say it. Darnell's the next star of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's the next guy that everybody's going to buy their jersey, and Darnell's going to get the next contract. And it's Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington. He's in a draft class with Keanu Benton, Joey Porter Jr., Broderick Jones, and Nick Herbig, and he's going to walk out of there as one of maybe 3 dudes who get contracts. And he might get the best deal. Shout out to Darnell. That dude, he's the next star of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's by the end of the season, he's going to lead all tight ends in receiving yards. I truly believe that. That's a bold prediction, maybe, but
I don't. I'll find out who's leading the NFL in receiving yards by tight ends this year, because Darnell, I think, has like 200 and some receiving yards. So he's got a long way to go. I have one defensive question for you, and then I have a bonus if we still have time. So
okay,
let's shift to the defensive side of the ball here. Let's just leave it at impact players. And Jalen Ramsey, I think, is going to be very motivated coming off of Spitgate. Not that he ever lacks motivation on the football field or the energy that the Steelers defense requires. He is the provider of it. But I think he's coming in here trying to make a statement after, being disrespected on a very personal level by Jamar Chase. And I think that's going to be to the detriment of the Chicago Bears. But there's also TJ Watt, another playmaker who is trying to record 2 sacks or more for the first time in what feels like forever.
10 years, maybe.
It feels like it. And I'm just torn on what do you think is more likely in terms of who's going to have a bigger impact? Do you think Jalen Ramsey creates a turnover, any fashion you can name, force fumble, interception, whatever? Or does TJ Watt get 2.0 sacks or more in this contest going up against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears?
I think TJ gets 2 sacks. I think he does.
Okay.
And I'll say this. I think TJ is still a very good player. I think he's worth a lot of money. I think he's on a downswing a little bit, and I'm a little nervous about it. However, Caleb Williams loves to just play Madden back there. You know what I mean? Have a little blast. Do a little thing.
Have a little blast.
And that's not going to work when TJ's running at you. And Caleb Williams is going to go, nah, dude, I could get around him. And then TJ's going to hit him so hard that I don't know, man. He's going to cry a little bit. I think that's what's going to happen. I was going to make a paint and nails joke, but it's 2025, dude. Everybody paints their nails. And it wouldn't have hit that hard. So I'm going to say cry. I'm going to say he's going to cry. I'm thinking a game from TJ. If we're going what's more likely, I think a game from TJ is the move here. I think TJ this is the opportunity. This is a wannabe Josh Allen. I think he's got the potential, but he's not there yet in Caleb Williams. And that's where TJ thrives, is let him hit somebody. I'm saying TJ with this one. I'm saying TJ.
That's a huge endorsement. I'm down for that. Also won't make fun of Caleb Johnson for painting his nails. I'm not about that. You do whatever you want. It's 2025.
Can I tell you a paint and nail story? So my brother,
of course,
my brothers paint their, my brothers are young and gen, whatever the next gen thing is. I'm a millennial. I get lost on all of them. And they all paint their nails. So I thought it was cool. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So painted my nails one time. I would say a bunch of times, and went into Steelers practice, and it took Kaboli, no lie, a millisecond of a second to be like, did you paint your nails? I didn't even put my bag down. And I went, yep. And then he had 700 jokes, and he didn't let that one go for a whole year. Year.
I love Kaboli. I just, if he makes fun of me for something, I don't even.
Kaboli.
It's just Kaboli, Kaboli, I grew up.
You gotta love
a wrestling fan. Like, you know who painted their nails? Jeff Hardy, dude. All that dude did was like swanton bomb off of things, and he'd put his hands up, and you'd see these sick painted nails, and I'd be like, well, maybe I could do that. Also, I don't know.
See, the thing is, you couldn't. That's the thing. That's what I learned. Rather, as none of us are as cool as Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? That stinks.
Exactly.
I wish we were. I wish we were. Shout out to Caleb Williams, who's going to get sacked by TJ like 4 times in this game.
For sure. Can I hit you with the bonus real quick before we?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
This is a friendship edition one, so I think you're gonna like this one, and I think hopefully the picnic pack will too. You and I are friends, and I think a lot of the Steelers like us too. Probably not. There's probably a couple that don't. And I'm wondering, who do you think, what friendship feels more likely to ever spark? I don't know. Is it me and Cordero Patterson? Or
Jesus.
Is it you and George Pickens? Who do you think is the more likely friendship?
Wow, dude. What a phenomenal question. What a phenomenal question here. Holy smokes. It's never going to be me and George. It's never going to be me and George. I think you have a very, you're a lovable guy. You're a guy that people see and they go, I want to be friends with Jacob. Jacob's a good guy. I think I'm a guy that people see, and I think if you don't catch me joking, I look a little miserable all the time. It's just natural. I think it's the beard. I couldn't tell you why. I blame my dad, and I think me and George have we've had enough words to know that I don't think we're fixing things. You know what I mean? Look at shout out to George. You want to go get a coffee or something, hang out. Great. I think Cordero, man. I think there's a chance Cordero could be like, yeah, dude, I'd make fun of me too. That's hilarious. You know, I think George gets mad at like flies on walls because he's like, why are you here, bro? Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
This could have been an olive branch moment for you and George Pickens.
I'll extend an olive branch. Let me extend that branch. There you go.
Right, there it is.
There you go.
But yeah, if Cordero wants to hang out, I'm down. Got any tips for I don't know if does he have kids? If he does, I could use some tips on I don't know what life is going to look like after my wife has a baby, so could use some tips. Cordero, if you want to chill, give me some notes. That'd be great. But yeah, aside from that, I don't know. I think that was a pretty split question. That was not geared to steer you in one way or the other, but I'd love for Cordero and I to put it aside. Just be buddies.
Just be buddies. Just be pals. And I think what a great question, dude. Were you just sitting there like looking at Cordero's Instagram or something, being like, I think I'm going to ask about him today. I think today's going to be the day.
No, you know what it was? Is I saw a reason why CeeDee Lamb was reportedly not, that you probably saw in our Slack too, of why CeeDee Lamb was reportedly like benched for the opening drive, and it made me think of George Pickens. And then anytime I think of George Pickens, I think you, and then there it is.
Shout out to GP, man. When I went to a birthday party this past weekend, bunch of Dallas Cowboys fans. They obviously know who I am, and we're like family. And they're like, dude, GP, man, thank you so much. I'm like, you can have him, brother. You have a good time there, big dog. You have a good time. It's all me, guys. Shout out to GP. I hope he's doing well. You know what I mean? Hope he seems like he's doing well. I'm happy for him. All right. That's everything on our agenda. What a fantastic What's More Likely. Thank you for that one. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we're going to start answering all your questions. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes Black and Gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
Alrighty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. Before we get going here, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Does wonders. We're about to hit 55,000 subscribers on YouTube. Can't thank you enough for that one. We got to start with a little off-brand moment here. And I'm going to be really honest. I don't feel the most comfortable bringing this thing up, so we're just going to read it, and then we're going to move on. Shout out to Duffy Buckets here. Okay, I will try clarifying this for the 10th time. My comment the other day, I feel like Maddie could be the fire woman, which Maddie is fire, dude. Let's be honest. She's the bee's knees. Solely based off of her Steelers fandom, knowledge, and humor. But she's off the board because she has the same name as my mom. Shout out to Maddie, dude. Maddie's awesome. Let's not make this Love Island all Steelers talk. Shout out to Maddie. She is the best. Eddie the Great.
You're all fire.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
Sure. Yeah.
George thinks none of us are fire, but shout out to George Pickens. Eddie the Great. Need a Camp Mount Washington for small baby children shirt. That would be so awesome. I don't think you could legally wear that into a stadium. I think it'd be I think you'd be put on a list or something, but it would just be a giant mountain with Darnell's face in it, and then a little tiny baby like Browns play or Bengals players running around on the bottom. Nobody do this. Nobody take this. This is on the moment here.
Trademark.
That's how it works. If you say it, it's yours. If it's say it, it's yours. Shout out Teddy the First, dude. That's phenomenal. Smoothest Buddhist. Did I hear this right? Did they really watch James Pierre lock down Jamar Chase and say, nah, we want Brown play Slay? Blown play Slay. Shout out to Darius Slay, man. Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said. And Darius returned to practice today, full participant. He is gonna start on Sunday against the Bears. Do you think there's any chance that the Steelers like legitimately bench him this season? Because before last week, there was no there was no conversation. What was the conversation? You were going to bench him for James Pierre. Now the conversation is, yeah, you're going to bench him for James Pierre. Do you think there's a legitimate chance that ever happens this season?
I mean, I think there is still a chance. I just don't think it's very likely. I think as long as he is healthy and able to go, they will give him every opportunity to remain the starter. And believe me, I am sure lots of people disagree with that moving forward. I'm one of those people, but I don't really see how it changes. There is a devotion-like loyalty to Darius Slay from Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff that I don't quite understand.
It's to all the old dudes, man. They love their old dudes. Steelers are just big fans of old dudes. And I agree. I don't think it would happen. I don't think it would happen. It should, but I don't think it would. Russian cream. Or tortellini salad, I should say. Ben Johnson doesn't realize this is the long-awaited return of Perk Rodgers, which Raccoon followed it up. Are we going to get a legendary Perk Rodgers game?
Guys, we know he can handle the pain. We know this. That's why pain tolerance is not an issue.
I like to refer to him as Smiling Salts Rodgers. And yeah, dude, if I had to guess, if Aaron Rodgers does play, if I had to put my money on it, I would put it on every over possible because it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. Like, it's Aaron Rodgers and the freaking Chicago Bears.
Duh, Bears.
The Bears. He owns the city of Chicago. That's what he does. That's what he does. Chris, if Rodgers plays and gets hurt, Tomlin will regret it for sure. For sure. I'll say this. I don't think that Tomlin wants Rodgers to play as much as Rodgers wants to play. Like, I don't think this is a Mike T pushing the situation thing. I think this is Rodgers saying, I'm playing this game, Mike. And Mike going, and Rodgers going, I'm playing the game, Mike. And then it's, you go from there. So, but I agree. I don't think there's, I don't know. Would they play on a short leash? Would you put him on a short? Is that even possible to put a quarterback on a short leash?
It is if has no control. And the thing that I really struggle with here is like, would the Steelers be like, oh, okay, didn't like the way you took that hit, or insert this whatever example that might test the injury to his wrist. Would they then be like, okay, you have to come out if Rodgers says no, like I'm good. It's just like a discomfort thing. I can play through it. Like, does Mike Tomlin overrule there? And does he say, no, you know what? We cannot risk it. This game is too important. We can't risk losing you long-term per like this comment from Chris. I don't know. That conversation to me, that feels like a place where Aaron Rodgers does really assert himself. And he's like, I'm not coming off this field unless this thing breaks again. You know what I mean? Like, and then you got to go from there.
I agree. Shout out to Rasta Pasta Salad. Gifted 5 All Steelers Talk memberships. If you get one, make sure you're calling into the show. If you guys checked out the call-in show today, had to do 2 of them and had to limit the amount of times that we played the second message from people because we had 60 call-ins on this call-in show today. Shout out to you guys. That was awesome. I think we were able to cut it down to 30 something. Everybody called about twice, and some of them were too old to actually play because they just didn't make sense anymore. But shout out to you guys. It was awesome. Smoothest Buddhist. Not gonna lie, since I'll be at the game, I'd love to watch Aaron Rodgers just shit on the Bears one last. Everybody would, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be a nice, no matter what you feel about Aaron Rodgers, okay? There are moments in sports history where you could sit there and go, this is cool. This is cool to watch in just a sports glass. Aaron Rodgers returning to Chicago one last time and smoking the Bears would be one of those moments where you just sat there and you went like, this is cool. This is a cool moment to watch, you know? And there's not really a lot of those out there right now. We're running out of the greats in the NFL. Aaron's the last like great in the NFL quarterback wise that is close to retirement. We're going to run out of this for a while, so we might as well embrace it.
Yeah. Unless we're going to do a retirement tour for, Joe Flacco next year, I think you're very much right. Until, Pat Mahomes is ready to hang it up, we're not really talking about any of these guys and how crucial their final years are in the NFL and what can he still do at an advanced age. So yeah, I think that's a really, really important point. And if I'm Smootest Buddhist, I want to see Aaron Rodgers go out there and just lay it down, smack it down one more time on those Chicago Bears.
On the Chicago Bears. Carl, me cup of Joe Green Beans Salad Spackler also reminded us Stafford is getting close, which Stafford would be cool. But like Stafford cemented himself in LA and has just done cool things. You know what I mean? Plus, in my eyes, Stafford's never going to retire. The guy is just youthful. And I don't know if you saw the picture of him hugging Cooper Kupp, but straight yams on those legs. Straight. It's insane. The man has calves like a body. Unbelievable calves. Unbelievable. It was
leg day.
I don't understand how somebody could just have legs that look that good. Unreal, dude. Unreal. If I ever met him, when I ever meet him, I'd be like, Matt, great to meet you. I don't know if anybody's ever told it, but your legs are fucking crazy. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. I had to let it out there just for a Matthew Stafford leg comment. Absolutely nuts.
Off the rails.
It's Matthew Stafford.
Matt, pleasure to meet you. Let me see them calves, brother.
Let me see the calves, dude. Look at those calves, bro. You do a certain machine for this? Do you like just walk up a bunch of stairs every day? How do you do this? How'd you get those calves to look like that? Unreal, dude. Unreal. Leroy, what's more likely? Mount Washington scores twice or Rodgers gives us 3 discount double check celebrations. I would love nothing more than Aaron Rodgers breaking out the discount double check with an I own this city one last time. I'm a big sports nostalgia guy, and that just it's just fun. It's just fun to watch, you know? It's why I watch like important LeBron games. Like I hate the NBA, and I got to watch LeBron, you know what I mean? Cuz like you just never know. You never know. I watched one Kobe game. It's last like 5 years, and it was his last home game. That was it. Yeah.
The game
one where he dropped 60.
Oh my God, that was
right.
Magical. R.I.P.
Right.
R.I.P.
Aaron dropping 40 points on the Bears one last time and discount double checking it into the end zone would be it. That being said, what's more likely here? 3 is a lot. I'm going Mount Washington.
I think Mount Washington is just on the rise, you know, and as much as Aaron Rodgers will be pumped up hypothetically if he is able to, you know, come out, have a great showing against the Bears, we're going to see a ton of emotion, a ton of fire from him for sure. I don't know if he's, you know, he'll let those feelings of nostalgia be known after. You know, those celebrations are going to be a lot of those fist pumps. They're going to be a lot of him getting real amped with the guys on the field. I'd love to see a couple discount double checks. I have no faith in it. I have a ton of faith in Darnell Washington. However, I think 2 tutties from this the Yeti is coming.
2 tutties from the Yeti. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bernard, do y'all think A-Rod was the reason the Jets sucked? Bernard, I have to say this with the most seriousness ever. Okay? Let me tidy up here. The Jets suck because they're the Jets. That's why. The Jets suck because they are the New York Jets, and they will forever suck. And then they will go through phases where they kind of suck less, and then you will get a reminder like Mark Sanchez butt fumbling to remind you they still suck because they are the Jets. Mm-hmm. It was the Jets. Go ask Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. I think the Jets, you know, I think it was Cole Sprouse in Big Daddy who said it very, very perfectly when he said the goddamn Jets, you know, and I think that the the pain and suffering for Jets fans has been real for a long time. I don't think Aaron Rodgers really helped, right? Like, wasn't, Aaron Rodgers in his prime, totally different story. Aaron Rodgers at age 40 had
coming off an Achilles.
Off the Achilles, all the fixins. Sorry. so that I never connected that until just now, but I think the way you say Achilles makes me think of that line from Eastbound and Down.
I don't know the line, but nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry.
It's never in the moment, but all right, cool. Yeah, appreciate it.
It's all good, man. All good. Here I am on the other side of this reference.
Shout out my guy. Artisanal Bully Kennel. Noah, did you get my email? I sent my pizza recommendations. I missed the post-game call. But Chase is an absolute scumbag. I stand with Ramsey. I mean, I don't know. Could you imagine being like, you know what? I think Jamar had a reason. I think it was worthy. Justified to spit in a man's face, which if you watch it closely, the spit lands right on his mouthpiece. Just nasty. Just nasty behavior. Nasty behavior.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Artisanal, I did get the email. I'm pretty excited about it. That's the only thing. I've been eating good all week. Salads, chicken, Whole Foods all week long, just so that when I get out there, I could eat the largest pizza on the planet. That's it. Duffy Buckets. How do I gift memberships? Also know any update on the care package? Care package has been sent, my friend. Usually takes a while though, because they're coming right from the warehouse. So I would give it two weeks ish. I don't know how to gift memberships, unfortunately. But if anybody knows how to, toss in the chat. Let our boy know. Poke my spinal confusion salad. Shout out to ASJ. Ever got to meet a Caleb like Snoop at the a celeb like Snoop? Yes, I did. Well, I've met a boatload of celebrities through this job, which has been incredible, no doubt about it. Incredibly blessed. Snoop Dogg was the only one where I walked away and went, "Oh my God, I just met Snoop Dogg." Snoopaloo. He walked into during the game last year. He walks into the cafeteria area. I'm sitting there. Everybody's staring like, yo, dude, is that Snoop Dogg? I was like, yeah, that's Snoop Dogg. I'm not going to miss an opportunity. I walk up. I dapped him up and said, what's good? He looks at me. Man. He goes, good man. He goes, what's cracking? And I said, dude, that was it. That was the only words that were exchanged. He kept walking. I kept walking. And I was like, and I immediately called my dad. It's like, yo, bro, you will never believe what just happened to me. I had just dapped up Snoop Doggy Dogg. And yeah. Top 5 moments of my life. Not gonna lie.
As it should be. As it should be.
Yeah. I met some good ones though. I met this season alone, I met Lincoln Park, which was cool. I've met Cat Williams, which is a good one for sure. These are just the Steelers. Cat Williams shows up to practice all the time, actually. Anytime he's in Pittsburgh, he's there. He was at the game. He was at the last game, actually.
He's pretty easy to miss, I feel like, if you don't know, because that man's little.
Yeah, dude, but he's loud, if you get my drift. Loud. Oh, that boy walks the room. Everybody knows somebody's there. They don't know who it is, but they're like, somebody's here. Somebody's.
One of his specials came out when I was in like 5th or 6th grade, and it just went through the grade school. We were tearing it up. Just love that. I'll find it. Specials.
I do love. I love the special.
I think it was the Pimp Chronicles. Yeah, probably was.
The Pimp Chronicles is his best one. That's like, first off, I don't know how a man that short has that much sweat inside of him, but it's awesome.
Well, he's wearing awesome. 3 layers of velvet.
That's where I was going with that. Is that he's the last comedian to do it right. To walk out on that stage, full 3-piece suit, going, I'm gonna look great as I'm out here, and we all respected it for him. Everybody was like, Cat Williams is a baller, dude. Is a baller. But yeah, met Wiz. I don't know. Brett Michaels obviously pretty much lives with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so they show up. I make sure I say what's good. every single time. Tortellini salad, bacon, pepperoni, and fresh jalapenos on my pizza suggestions. Also, if Roman Wilson sucks this game, I think OBJ is done with the suspension. Dude, OBJ can't even, his suspension doesn't even start until he signs with the team. So I'm almost positive. Didn't we look that up the last time we were talking about this?
I believe that,
or did it start that week?
Started, yeah, it might be. So I think it might have been 6 weeks since we talked about that. He might be available to play. I'm looking it up right now, but I don't care if he is. He is reinstated. Yeah. So he served that 6 week suspension. I don't want him. Even if Roman Wilson is not performing well, I don't. You got MVS just waiting to play a game. What is OBJ right now? Not OBJ 10 years ago or whatever, or 5 years ago, but what is this player right now compared to really a Roman Wilson or a Calvin Austin or an MVS? It's just another player. So
I agree. Very much so agree. Also, bacon and pepperoni all day long. Y'all know I can't do the spice, so the jalapenos can stay on the side all day. Dylan, couple things. With all the injuries in the secondary, I think we should bring up Asante to the 53. Also, thoughts on signing OBJ or Brandon Cooks. I also think the Steelers should bring up Asante Samuel Jr. the moment he's ready. I'm not going to get optimistic because MVS I was optimistic for, and now I'm pretty convinced that man's not going to play down for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. Brandon Cooks, though, released by the Saints today. He's out there floating around. Would you touch him?
I would give him a poke. Sure. I don't think that's like the worst addition. I certainly take that over OBJ. You're not looking at a very, you're not getting the best version of Brandon Cooks, right? You're not getting the speed demon that you could just send downfield, but you might get a player who can contribute for a stretch run. Sure. I mean, again, if the number 2 wide receiver position is once again a huge drain on this offense after they play the Chicago Bears, they need to make something happen. It either has to be elevating MVS, and I do agree with you, Noah. I don't think he's going to come up anytime soon, which I think is wild. Or they have to go sign someone who has been released, like a Brandon Cooks. But again, please, no Odell Beckham. No, thank you.
No. No. I would like Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks still has a lot of value in the NFL. My only concern, and I think he fits on the outside more than Calvin and Roman do, so I think that actually works. Like, Brandon Cooks couldn't be an outside receiver. My only thing is that he does play like he's a smaller speed guy. He's exactly what you have already. To do it again, like, you would have to almost guarantee me that this guy is going to come and play on the 53 for me to be like, I support this. Only because it's the Steelers side of things. It's not the Brandon Cook side of things. It's the Steelers just bring guys on just to have them sitting around and doing nothing. And it's not fun anymore. It's not fun. It's not fun.
No one likes it.
No. Tortellini salad. Don't kill me, guys. I'm just joking. We know. Anybody who brings up OBJ is clearly joking. Clearly joking. Love you. Leroy, funny you say that. I just watched Cat give the team a pep talk for the Colts game. Never knew he was a fan. Also, if we win, you guys got to eat a deep dish slice on Victory Monday. Dude, I would.
After the steak dinner?
After the steak dinner, after the
Dessert
4 touchdowns from Mason Rudolph, a little deep dish for dessert, a little deep dish appetizer. Nobody wants to watch me eat a piece of pizza on this show. No,
we're getting into mukbangs over on all Steelers talk.
It would be disgusting, dude. It would be. I'm a sloppy eater, man. It's just
that's disgusting. If I could never hear or see a person eat for the rest of my life, I'd be thrilled.
I'll tell you this
and
though,
someone who lives with another person.
True. I go to Indianapolis every year for the combine, and a couple of years ago got deep dish pizzas. Max Starks ate an entire deep dish pizza to himself, then half of someone else's, and then a quarter of a third person's, all while drinking Guinness. Insanity, my friend. And then he was alive. Like, he was out all night with us. I would have been sleeping by the third slice of pizza. It was insane.
Easily.
I ate one slice of that pizza. One slice of the pizza. And I was like, wow, dude, just ate a whole lasagna. I need to go to bed. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Like Garfield the cat.
Yep. Scott Gilmore. So MVS still on practice squad. James Pierre not getting the start over old man Slay. Asante Samuel's sitting on the practice squad. At what point does Mike Tomlin stop coaching like a dinosaur? Eventually. I would say possibly never. but eventually. Speaking of dinosaurs, way off topic here.
What's your
Bill
favorite?
Belichick. Oh man.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
T-Rex.
Brontosaurus.
Bill Belichick going to his 24-year-old girlfriend's cheerleading competition. Did you see
Middle school
that?
dance? Oh, you said that. Yeah. Huh?
Did you see that picture? Did you see the picture?
No, I'll find it right now. Are you kidding me?
You'll find it. It's a good one.
Wait, she's a competitive
cheerleader. She's a competitive cheerleader.
Oh, right now she is?
Co-ed cheerleader. Yeah. On the side of being a billionaire. Wears many hats, dude. Wears many hats. Coaches the North Carolina Tar Heels, has a giant real estate portfolio, and cheers on the side. And all in the meanwhile, making good old Billy happy. It's crazy. But it is
in this.
Yeah, clearly. And like just sitting there, like just chilling, man. Just chilling. It's a wild time, man.
This guy could have a catheter in, and he'd still be, we don't even know. It's crazy.
Shout out to Bill Belichick, man. Shout out to Bill Belichick. Dylan, what's more likely? Caleb Johnson gets his first touchdown, or we will see Howard play. Oh, I think Caleb Johnson plays in this game. I think Caleb Johnson gets a pretty decent amount of reps in this game because Jalen's injured. We don't know. He didn't practice today, which is big. I think Caleb gets a pretty good amount. This is not Minnesota. Caleb was still in the doghouse in Minnesota. This is a different time. I think he gets, if Jalen doesn't play, I think KJ gets pretty good amount of snaps for a backup running back. And I think the possibility of a touchdown is definitely there.
Yeah, I do, especially if Jalen Warren is not on the field. I think they have been increasingly impressed and giving a little bit more trust and confidence to Caleb Johnson over the past couple of weeks. And I think even if Jalen Warren is on the field, I find it more likely that he gets a goal line carry or something like that for his first career touchdown than Will Howard gets in the game. Because if today served as any indication, the question is not between Mason and Will Howard right now. It's Aaron Rodgers versus, his wrist is the decision we're making right now. And so if it goes the way of his injured wrist, that means Mason Rudolph. There's very little space for Will Howard to actually get into this game unless Aaron Rodgers is not fit enough to dress other than being the emergency quarterback. And Mason Rudolph also has to come out of the game because of really poor performance or injury. So for those reasons, I think Caleb Johnson might just be looking at a really good, maybe great opportunity to, make himself more valuable to the Steelers here against the Bears.
I agree. And I hope that he could take advantage of it. I truly, truly do. Diamond, can you say how MVS and Asante look in practice? Neither of them are doing almost anything. Asante's playing on the practice squad, so he's getting looks, but only on scout team defense. I'm not going to lie to you guys, okay? And I'm only supposed to be saying so much. I have not watched MVS take a snap. The guy he's not even involved during practice. He's just hanging out, which is more concerning than if he looked bad. He is not doing anything for the Steelers right now. Not a single thing.
Yes, I agree. I'm trying to be very, I guess, careful. I have not seen really anything from him at practice that makes me feel like they're working him into the first team offense. There's been maybe a couple of moments where he gets subbed in on certain things, but for the most part, it's like Asante Samuel, where he's more a member of the scout team or just sort of off to the side in these sessions. So I need to see a lot more in terms of them working him into the mix before I would feel confident that they're going to bring him up. And that is, I think Noah and I are in agreement here where it's not because it's not an indictment on the player. It's not saying, oh, Asante Samuel Jr. looks awful. It's not, oh, MVS looks like he hasn't played football in forever. They just don't seem like they're, getting on the moving train immediately. Asante Samuel, there's more room for patience, but the way MVS is going, and he's going on his third full week of being here and practicing, the fact that there hasn't been any sort of real progress is concerning enough to say he might not be a real option for the team.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. Pittsburgh Hornets. If you could have any Steelers coach or player be another co-host who isn't currently a show, who would you pick? Great question. Great question.
Dope.
Aaron Rodgers, dude. Aaron Rodgers is my pick all day, every single day. Every single day. Could you imagine talking to Aaron Rodgers for 1 hour every day, unfiltered?
No, I think I'd hate it.
I think my brain would explode in such good ways. It would be awesome. It would be awesome. I feel like I could have weird conversations for so long. You know what I mean? I'm like, tell me about the darkness. I want to know every detail about the darkness, you know? And I'd be into it. By the end of it, I'd be like, we'd be sitting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right. Of course. No, naturally.
Hanging out in the dark, just hanging out in the dark. And that would be the whole podcast. It would be a great time. It'd be a great time. Go, what's your pick?
No. I think you are the best person possible to have these conversations with. I think you can entertain any conversation. I have watched you do it multiple times in multiple scenarios. So I think that is certainly true. I would hate it. I'd fight through it, and maybe it'd be a good dynamic. I don't know. You know who I really want? My pick would be Troy Polamalu, because I think everyone wants to know so much more about his thoughts and his process. And this is a very, reserved, soft-spoken player. And not that I think it's likely, but man, if I could pick someone's brain for an hour, every day, he'd be my pick easily.
I think you and Troy would be so awesome on a podcast together because you're both such gentle humans that it would be, it would be so much fun to just you would know how to talk. It would be a great time. It would be a great time.
Quiet hour.
Yeah. Calming hour with Jacob and Troy. That would be so awesome. So awesome. So awesome. All right. Eddie the first. Noah, hypothetically, if the Jets cut Fields, would you be down to re-sign him any day of the week? Any day of the week. Bring him in here tomorrow. Justin Fields versus Mason Rudolph versus Will Howard. Steelers quarterback 2026. He's so bad. He's so bad. I would do it
with a straight face.
Why? I think Justin was not. I don't think he was good, but I don't think he was the worst in Pittsburgh. And I think he'd be way better in Pittsburgh than he is in New York. So why not? Why not? If your options are Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco, or Justin Fields at the end of the season, yep, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. I'd sign him
easily. I tell you what, I'd cut Mason Rudolph today if Justin Fields could be the number 2 quarterback. I don't care.
I would love it, dude. I would love it. I still remain a Justin guy. I think he went to the Jets, which is the worst career move you can make as a quarterback in the NFL. He unfortunately chased the money. I get it. I understand the situation. It's not going to work out well. We're going to finish it off with Pittsburgh Hornets. Start bench cut. Steelers reality show edition at the height of the hate. Ramsey and Chase, James Harrison and Ocho Cinco, Mason, TJ, and Myles Garrett. I think at the peak, Mason getting hit in the head by a helmet from Myles Garrett is unbeatable. Unbeatable. The man, it was attempted murder on a human on a football field that resulted in Marquise Pouncey kicking a man in the face. It was, that's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets.
Drama.
My pick is easy. Easy, Mason. I don't know. You could scratch TJ, Mason, and Garrett. Easy.
Yeah. And it's the thing is, you could do a 6-episode mini series on that entire thing, and it would. I could see it now, just building in my head. That would be epic. So easy pick.
Yeah. Shout out. All right, guys. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. As always, we'll answer Duffy real quick. Duffy Bucket. So MVS still hasn't taken team reps in game prep yet. Nope. No reps at all from, MVS during the first team, at least from what I've seen. I obviously don't see every rep of practice, but from what I've seen.
I think you're correct.
All right. Now we're heading out of here. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out. Can't thank you enough. And with that said, we'll be back later. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.